doctors and medical technologies. Welcome back again to another episode of Histology Lecture. So my name is Sir Neil and I'll be covering today the bone. Okay, so since this is a histolec type of lecture, please remember that you need to supplement it with the book. Okay, so we're going to talk about the theories, the parts of the bone, okay, in a more book type approach. Okay, so let's have an overview. What is a bone? A bone is a connective tissue characterized by a mineralized extracellular matrix. So since bone is a connective tissue, it has cells, meron din siyang extracellular matrix. Okay? The bone matrix contains mainly type 1 collagen. Why is that? It's because your bone needs to be strong. Okay? So that's why ang main composition niya na collagen is type 1. Okay? Along with other matrix such as your non-collagenous proteins. The bone matrix contains lacunae connected by a network of canaliculi. So I think you're all familiar with the lacunae. Okay? So the lacunae is the place where osteocytes are held in place. And then yung network ng canaliculi, di ba? I've discussed this sa ating histo lab. Okay? That it is responsible in distributing whatever blood supply, oxygen, whatever nutrient that the osteons or the osteocytes that are placed in the lacuna is needing. Okay? So in addition to osteocytes, other cell types are associated with the bone. The osteoprogenitor cells, your osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Once again, osteoclasts are macrophages. Okay? So they are macrophages. So saan sila nanggaling? Sa bone marrow. From the hematopoietic stem cells. Okay? So hindi siya galing sa osteoprogenitor cells natin. Okay? So I hope that is clear with you. Ano pa? What is the function of the bone? The bone functions as a support. Okay? It functions also for your protection, which protects the internal organs such as your rib cage, which protects your heart. For movement, it provides leverage system for skeletal muscle, tendons, ligaments, and joints. Basically, it is the entire framework of the human body. Okay? Ano pa? Mineral homeostasis. Okay? When we say homeostasis, it means equilibrium. Okay? So, bones act as a reserves of minerals important for the body like your calcium and phosphorus. Okay, so when the body needs calcium, it will break down some parts of the bone, okay, para at least makarelease ng calcium sa body natin. That's why you as students or young people, you need to have your daily dose of calcium, guys. Kasi dili nato gusto ng ato ang bones kay ma-deplete. Okay? Ano pa? Hematopoiesis. It's because, sabi ko sa inyo, bones caters your bone marrow and nandyan yung ating hematopoietic stem cells. So that's why the hematopoiesis here means blood cell formation. Lastly, last dito sa slide natin, the storage of adipose tissue, particularly the yellow marrow. Okay? Another function of the bone is bones are the organs of the skeletal system. Bone tissue is the structural component of bone. So basically, pag sabing bone, tissue jud na siya, guys. No? Dili ninyo siya tawag yan, i-confuse, no? Don't be confused. Bone is a type of tissue. Okay? So, let's talk about the different classification of bones. Okay? So, bones are classified according to shape. Example dito, you have your long bones, no? The humerus and femur, short bones, flat bones, irregular bones. Okay? So, please be familiar of the different types of bones in your body. I know you're all aware of this sa inyong anapisyo, but you need to be you need to review. Okay? So, let's move on sa next slide natin. The general structure of the bone, no, consists of the diaphysis, the epiphysis, okay? Diaphysis is the long shaft of the bone, which is this one, okay? Ayan. The epiphysis are the ends of the bone, okay? So, meron tayong ito, this one. Ayan. So, kapag sa taas, the proximal epiphysis, and then sa baba is the distal epiphysis, okay? And then we also have yung tinatawag natin na metaphysis between epiphysis and diaphysis. Okay, so ito siya. Ayan. Okay, and then we also have the epiphyseal plate. So, if maalala ninyo sa ating cartilage na topic, di ba? Epiphyseal plate. Anong predominant cartilage na nandyan? Your, ano man? Hyaline cartilage, okay? So, these are the growth plates, okay? So, yung epiphyseal plate na yan, dyan mag-infiltrate ang ating mga blood vessels, lalo na kung palaki pa lang, ang growing pa yung isang bata, no? Yan ang part ang papasukan ng ating mga blood vessels, okay? Another general structure of the bone is the articular cartilage, which covers the epiphysis. Okay, this one. Ayan. And then, we also have the periosteum, which is the bone covering. Okay, yung periosteum natin is a type of connective tissue that covers the bone. Okay, so una ang sakit if ever na when we do blood extraction tapos makahit ka ng bone, no, that is the worst thing na pwede mangyari sa iyo, no, kasi medyo masakit talaga siya. Hindi siya medyo masakit talaga siya. Okay, another thing, we also have the Sharpie's fibers. Okay, so ano nga ba yung Sharpie's fibers? They are the periosteum attached to underlying bone. Okay, you'll see a more detailed picture nito later on. Okay, another thing, the medullary cavities. Okay, these are your bone marrows. Very good, no? They are the hollow chamber in bone. Red marrow produces blood cells, yellow marrow produces your adipose. And then lastly, the covering ng ating medullary cavity is your endosteum. Okay, so let's see, or let's differentiate periosteum from endosteum. Okay, so periosteum, it covers the external, okay, external surfaces of the bone, absent on articulating surfaces and areas where muscle, tendons, ligaments are attached. So, kung merong mga tendons, ligaments na naka-attach, wala kang makikitang periosteum dyan. Okay? Ang layers nito, it has fibrous layer, which is the outer layer niya. Okay? In this picture, this one. Ayan. And then, the osteogenic layer. Okay? The osteogenic layer or the cellular layer. Okay? So, please remember that the periosteum is a type of connective tissue. Okay? Since connective tissue siya, no? It contains the Sharpie's fibers. These are bundles of collagen fibers from periosteum trapped in the bone matrix. It anchors your periosteum to the bone. Okay? So, ano naman, since we all know that periosteum from the word peri, di ba? So, means outside. Okay? Or external. So, endo means inside. Okay? So, endosteum, since it is inside, it lines all internal surfaces and cavities, no? Such as your medullary cavities, your marrow, and vascular. So, basically, guys, no? In your spongy bone, no, you can see this endosteum because sa spongy bone natin makikita ang ating mga medullary cavities, right? Okay, so since they need to be inside, they are thinner than your periosteum, and then often just a single layer of cell. Okay, so let's try to have a quiz, no, short quiz sa ating mga sa ating structure ng bone natin. Okay, so let's identify now. Okay, ang gina-point ng ating ito na arrow are your blood vessels. Very good, no? So ang gina-point ng number 3 is your periosteum. Very good. Okay? Ito naman, this one is your bone marrow. Very good. So itong number 5 natin, kung ang sagot mo is endosteum, tama ka po. While itong gina-point ng arrow na to, this one, ito siya. Yan, ito is the compact bone. Okay, very good. So, kanina, sir, I've mentioned this one. Itong sinasabi natin, Sharpie's fibers, no? Ano yan sila? Saan yan sila? Ang Sharpie's fiber ngayon, guys, is ito. Itong number 4. Yan. Can you appreciate how it anchors your periosteum to the bone itself, to the compact bone itself, no? Yan ang purpose ng Sharpie's fiber. Okay? So, let's move on to the next slide, which is the bone tissue. For the bone tissue, no, it is classified either compact or spongy bone. We all know that naman. Compact bone, which other name niya is the cortical, no, bone, and there are no spaces here, so basically you can't see cavities here. Okay, it comprises 75 to 80% of the skeletal muscle mass. The lamellae are arranged in 3 ways, no. It may be using the Habersian system, which is an osteon, no, yung parang pabilog, yung ganun. Yan. The interstitial lamellae, okay, the interstitial lamellae natin, which are the spaces, okay, for example, another osteon na naman nandito, the spaces, okay, that is your interstitial lamellae. And lastly, the circumferential lamellae, which is the outer part of your entire compact bone, okay. So, can you appreciate the picture of your interstitial lamellae here? Okay, you have one osteon here and another osteon here, so yung gap there is your interstitial lamellae. Okay, so I hope you are now familiar with the structure, no? Kasi we already I had a topic about this sa inyong laboratory. Okay, so let's move on sa next slide natin and talk about the cancellous bone. Okay, so spaces are present in between bone trabeculae or spicules. Okay? And that spaces, no guys, kaya it is yun yung gina-occupy ng ating mga bone marrow. Spaces between bone spicules are occupied by bone marrow, and remember this one, 20 to 25% of the skeletal mass is your spongy bone. So saan ang mas marami? Spongy or yung ating compact bone? Obviously your compact bone. Okay? So I hope klaro tong slide na to, ha. So let's talk about now the bone spicules or the trabecula. Okay? Bone spicules comprise your spongy bone. Very good. Each is formed by several bone lamellae that are arranged parallel to each other. Okay, so please remember that whatever component you have on your compact bone, no, it may also be present, no, may also be present sa inyong spongy bone, because both compact bone and your spongy bone will form together your bone. Okay, so I hope understandable siya. Okay, so ito mga spicules na to, ito siya, this one, ito sila, yan, yung mga parang naga-branch na yan. Those are our trabeculae. If you appreciate, no, ang ating trabeculae, guys, sa spongy bone, meron din siyang mga canaliculi. Okay? Meron din siyang mga lamellae. Okay? So, basically, the entire composition, no, may be the same with the compact bone. Meron din siyang lacuna, osteocyte, osteoclast. Okay? So, halos familiar sila. Okay? So, let's take a look at let's take a look at a microscopic slide. Okay, so this is an example of a microscopic slide. Okay, this is an osteon, no, I hope you can appreciate that this is an osteon. Okay, so this is an example of a peri-osteon. Okay, a peri-osteon ba? I forgot, let me check. Ayun, peri-osteum. Okay, and then another thing, these are yung ating mga osteoblast, ito sila, and osteocytes, ito siya. Okay, so I hope na intindihan ninyo, no, these are osteocytes, and then itong nakaline dito sa ating peri-osteo banda are most likely your osteoblast. Okay, because the osteoblast will make your bone matrix. Sige lang, I will be discussing that po in the later slides. Okay, so let's move on sa histological features of your bone. Your intercellular substances, no, are layered, okay, or lamellar. They are 3 to 7 millimeters in size. The lacunae or the lacuna, these are cavities in the bone lamellae which each contain an osteocyte. The canaliculi, yung nabanggit ko sa inyo, are canals that radiate from the lacunae. Anastomose with those from other lacunoes. It means it forms branching, no? Yung parang when we say anastomosis, guys, it is yung parang mga branch na mag-form, mag-join together para mas siya, mas longer yung reach. Okay, it contains cytoplasmic processes of osteocytes. Cytoplasmic processes of neighboring osteocytes are in contact with each other in the canaliculi. So not only that your canaliculi serves as a passageway for the nutrients, but also, no, it serves as a passageway for cytoplasmic processes to take place. Okay, so let's take a look at a picture or a diagram of your histological structure of the bone. Okay, so can you appreciate the central canal here, this one, no, meron mga presence ng mga blood vessels and other things, and then individual osteons here, yan sila. Okay, so kung maalala niyo sa ating histo laboratory, it's still the same here. Okay, so isa-isahin natin siya para at least mas maintindihan niyo. Okay, these are your lacuna which contains an osteocyte. Okay, so I hope klaro siya, no, and then yung mga area, yung mga striations na yan, those are our canaliculi. Okay, so let's move on sa ating next slide and talk about the Haversian system or an osteon. What is an osteon? Okay, an osteon is ito siya, itong buong ganito. Yan. Okay, ang tawag dyan is osteon or Haversian system. In the osteon, meron tayong tinatawag na Haversian canal. Okay, or the central canal. These are longitudinal channels that contains blood vessels and nerves. The bone lamellae arranged around the Haversian canal and is lined by, yes, very good, you got it right, endosteum. Okay, the cement line naman, guys, no, is a mineralized matrix and collagen fibers that demarcate the boundaries of an osteon. So ibig sabihin, you can say na cement line ito if yun na yung end ng inyong isang osteon. Okay, so for example, in this particular picture, here is your cement line. Okay, ito. Kasi dyan man nag-end, makita mo talaga visually na dyan siya nag-end. So that is your cement line. Okay, so let's have a short picture diagram quiz, no? Let's identify. Okay? Yung number 9 dyan is your, if your answer is central canal, Haversian system, Haversian canal, very good, you are correct. Okay? Itong number 8, ito siya. If your answer is a lacuna or lacunae, since dalawang tinuturo niya, you are correct. Okay? Yung number 10 natin, if your answer is the cement line, you are correct. So, 3 out of 3, very good. So, let's proceed sa next slide natin and talk about the Boxman's canal. Okay, the Boxman's canal or perforating canals, they are transverse vascular channels that is lined again by your endosteum. Tandaan, the endosteum is found inside the bone, no? Whether it is the compact bone or the spongy bone. Outside or the external covering of your bone is yung ating periosteum. I hope di kayo mawala, no? Ano bang trabaho ng Boxman's canal? It connect the Haversian canals with each other and with blood vessels in the medullary cavity and periosteum. So basically, this is your Haversian canal, your Boxman's canal, and then this is another Boxman's canal or the perforating canals. Okay? So let's move on sa next slide natin and talk about the interstitial lamellae. Your interstitial lamellae, they are bone lamellae between complete Haversian systems not associated with the Haversian canal and all. That's why sabi ko sa inyo, kung saan nag-end yung ating cement line, the area to which meron na namang another osteo naman, no? Yung parang area doon is what we call the interstitial lamellae. For example, let's have this is your picture. You have one osteon here. Okay? So this is the central canal. This is the, ayan yung cement line. Okay? The cement line. And then another osteon here. Ayan. And then another osteon here. Ayan. So, ito siya, cement line nila, cement line. The area, yan, ito nga area, that is your interstitial lamellae. Okay, so let's have a diagram. Okay, here in this picture, I want you to identify or understand saan located ang ating interstitial lamellae. Okay, so let's start here. This particular area here is kung saan located ang inyong interstitial lamellae. What if you are asked, saan ang cement line yan? Okay? So, makita nyo naman siguro kung saan nag-end yung mga, ano natin, no? Lamella. Yan. Those are all cement line. Okay? Yung area lang talaga na outside your cement line will be your interstitial lamellae. Okay? So, let's check again another picture. Ayan. So, can you see the Haversian systems there or the osteon? Okay? You can clearly see the boundary that is being made by your cement line. Tama? Okay? So, the area there is your interstitial lamellae. Sorry guys, no? Tama magkikaon pa. Okay, so let's move on sa ato ang next slide and talk about the circumferential lamellae. Okay? Circumferential lamellae, guys, is the outer. So basically, guys, makita niyo siya sa yung pinaka parang labas-labas na, no? Yung external part of the bone. Okay? So sabi dito, in diaphysis of the long bone, immediately beneath the periosteum, you can see the circumferential lamellae. Several bone lamellae that encircle the whole bone. Okay? Yung inner circumferential lamellae naman, no? Or yung sa loob-loob, these are the inner aspect of the compact bone. They are the lamellae that encircle the medullary cavity. So, inner and outer. So, ibig sabihin guys, no, at the end, it's still a lamella. Kung nasa labas yung lamella natin, makita near the periosteum or beneath the periosteum, ang tawag dyan is outer circumferential lamellae. Kapag nasa loob-loob naman, no, almost near yung sa ating mga medullary cavity, ang tawag dyan is your inner circumferential lamellae. Okay, so bakit ganun, sir? Bakit when we hindi na lang outer lamellae ang tawag? The reason why, because pag sinabi mo kasing lamellae, guys, no, ang isang ganyan, itong isang ganito, 'di ba, lamella. Okay? But one osteon has multiple lamella. Okay? So that's why lamellae siya. The reason bakit sila naga-form ng kanyang bilog, no, bakit circumferential tawag, is because naga-form agad siya ng bilog niya. It's just that kapag nasa labas siya located sa mismong compact bone, kasi 'di ba marami yan. Let's say for example, this is your slide. You have multiple yan osteons there. Okay? Yung multiple osteons mo na yan, guys, no, yung multiple osteons mo na yan, meron pa yan silang, yan, yung, kumbaga, kung ano yung mga nandito sa dulo, yung sa end na, yung malapit na sa parang periosteum natin, no, ang tawag na dyan is your outer circumferential lamellae. Yung mga nasa loob, guys, that is near the ating mga medullary cavities, no, are called inner. So, basta yun lang yung tandaan ninyo, guys, no, kasi, ano mga siya, multiple lamella magod ang combination nyo. That's why circumferential lang ginagamit na terminologies. Okay, so let's check the picture para mas magets ninyo. So in this particular Habertian compact bone natin, no, you can see multiple Habertian system or multiple osteons, okay? Yung mga areas that is near, okay, near the cavities, medullary cavities natin, iyan yung ating internal circumferential lamellae, okay? Yung areas naman na malapit sa ating periosteum, this one, yan yung ating external circumferential lamellae, okay? So they all have, both of them, external and internal, they both have lamella, okay? Kasi yun yung main component niya, lamella. It's just that because of its position within the compact bone, kaya siya tinatawag na internal circumferential lamellae or external circumferential lamellae, okay? So let's move on sa next slide natin, which is the bone composition, okay? So since bone, next, okay, so since bone are is a tissue, no, you're expect to see intracellular substances, no, such as your ground substance, the cells, no, and intercellular fibers. Okay, so let's have a review. Okay, once again, your compact bone, diba, it comprises 70, almost more than, no, than your cancellous bone, tama? Okay, here sa bone composition natin, guys, no, remember that your intercellular fibers, no, the collagen fibers makes up about 90% of the intercellular substances, no, which are mostly collagen type 1 because the bone needs to be strong. Okay, the ground substance may be inorganic salts or an organic component. The cells, however, are apat sila. The osteoprogenitor cell, the osteoblast, the osteocytes, and then the osteoclast. Okay, so ito yan sila. We have the osteocyte, which maintains bone tissue, osteoblast, which forms the bone matrix, the osteogenic cell, okay, which makes it all, di ba? The osteoclast, which is the macrophage or resorbs bone. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, when the body, no, needs calcium, kasi depleted na yung calcium sa na mineral na meron tayo, it will going to break down the bone to release ngayon yung calcium na nandyan sa bone. Remember, guys, that your calcium, no, na ginainom natin sa mga gatas, no, are actually being deposited sa ating bones. Okay, so please remember that. So drink your milk, everyone. Okay, so let's talk about the different cells first. Okay, the osteoprogenitor cell, the start of it all. Okay, it came from the embryonic mesenchymal cell. So please remember, it came from your embryonic mesenchymal cell. So majority, guys, ng ating mga tissues dito nang galing sa embryonic mesenchymal cell. Okay, it is capable of unlimited mitosis. Wow. Okay, it's because it's supposed to be that way. Whenever our body is depleted of osteocytes, not osteoclast, because osteoclast actually is not created by your osteoprogenitor cell, but rather your hematopoietic stem cells. Okay, but sa mga cells na ginagawa ng ating osteoprogenitor cells, no, every time na depleted sila, your osteoprogenitor cell will make more of your needed cells. Okay, so these are stem cells with limited potential. Okay, though they are capable of unlimited mitosis, they can only differentiate into two, the osteoblast and the chondroblast. Okay, so the chondroblast, maalala ninyo, it is the cells present, diba, sa ating cartilage, tama? Because, guys, the cartilage and the bone, no, they work hand in hand together. Whenever you see bone, you can also see cartilage, diba? The periosteum is a type of connective tissue, diba? Type of cartilage, kung good po na siya, na nag-cover. It is a covering, no? So basically, the chondroblast here came from the osteoprogenitor cells. Sir, sabi mo dati, ang fibroblast, nag-create din sila ng chondroblast. The fibroblast creates fibers and ground substances. Yeah, that is true. And it also can create or can make chondroblast. But however, yung mga functions kasi na yan, guys, no, ano kasi yan sila, interconnected with each other. Okay, so since we are just talking about osteoprogenitor cell, no, it can only differentiate into two, mainly osteoblast, which matures into your osteocytes, and then the chondroblast, which makes your chondrocytes. Okay, so in the periosteum, endosteum, and perichondrium, you can see the osteoprogenitor cell. In H&E staining, it cannot be distinguished from fibroblast or mesenchymal cell. Actually, guys, halos same naman guna sila tsura. Tanan progenitor cell. So, pag sinabi yung progenitor cell, it is the start of it all. No? Yung mesenchymal, halos magkakamukha yan silang lahat. Okay, so I hope naintindihan niyo itong slide na to, ha. Dito, sa osteoprogenitor cell, it can only make osteoblast and chondroblast. Okay? Yung osteoblast will mature into your osteocytes, no? Kapag mag-settle in place na siya sa kanyang lacuna, no? It will become osteocyte. Ang chondroblast kapag mag-settle na sa kanyang lacuna, ang tawag sa kanya is chondrocyte. Okay, so I hope you are clear with that. Now let's talk about the osteoblast. Osteoblast is seen on the surface of the bone tissue or calcified cartilage. Okay, why is that? Familiar ba? Yung ganitong picture. Okay, obviously it is familiar sa inyo because in the laboratory, I have discussed that when chondroblasts line together, they will form the chondrogenic layer. It's still the same thing here. However, instead of chondroblast, here we have the osteoblast. And saan sila makita guys? No? Sa surface ng bone tissue or the calcified tissue. They form a line. Okay? They differentiate, okay, they came from the osteoprogenitor cell and they are not capable of cell division or differentiation into other cell type except the osteocyte. So ito siya, osteocytes lang talaga ang isang osteoblast will turn into an osteocyte. Okay? Ang mangyari yun is, di ba, since ang osteoblast will make its own bone matrix, yung mga ganun, no? Eventually, it will immerse itself in its own produced precursor collagen fibers, no? And it will settle down in its own individual lacuna. So, during the time na mag-settle down na siya sa kanyang lacuna, ang tawag na sa kanya is osteocyte. Okay? This is not the same with your chondroblast. Diba ang chondroblast, it is capable of mitosis. Tama? Ang osteoblast, no. Okay? It is not capable of cell division. However, ang meron na sa kanya is maturity. Okay? It will mature into an osteocyte. Ang chondroblast, it can do mitosis. Diba? Ilang cells yun? 8 to 10 cells. Okay? One chondroblast will become 8 to 10 chondrocytes. Okay, I hope naintindihan niyo tong slide na to, no? And let's talk about sa mature form ng ating osteoblast, which is the osteocyte. Okay, wait lang, ano pa pala? Ang function niya ito, synthesize precursor collagen fibers. Yung sinabi ko, yung mga bone matrix, no? It can regulate mineralization of the bone. It secrete growth factors that promote bone growth and aid in osteoclast in bone resorption. So basically, guys, no, when even in the immature form, no, even in its blast form, it is very important. Okay, it secretes enzyme that remove unmineralized bone matrix that prevents osteoclast from performing bone resorption. In presence of parathyroid hormone or your PTH, no, it secretes a hormone, osteoclast stimulating factor, that promotes increased activity of your osteoclast. So ibig sabihin, kapag the body is needing calcium, no, the body is needing calcium, the brain or our parathyroid gland will release a parathyroid hormone that will now secrete the osteoclast stimulating factor. So, ang ginagawa ng osteoclast stimulating factor, no, it will make yung trabaho ng osteoclast natin faster. Okay? So, sino ang mag-secrete ng hormone na yon? Ang mag-secrete ng osteoclast stimulating factor is your osteoblast. Okay? Your osteoblast will secrete a hormone, the osteoclast stimulating factor, that promotes increased activity of your osteoclast para mas mabilis yung pag-breakdown niya ng bone. So, saan yun siya nag-start lahat? Sa parathyroid hormone. Kapag merong parathyroid hormone, no? Pag mataas ang parathyroid, ang PTH natin, if there is an increase in PTH na lang guys, no, mas sanay ako dito. If there is an increase in PTH, therefore, there will be an increase in the hormone of osteoclast stimulating factor that will now make your osteoclast break down more bones, to which you will have an increase in calcium levels. Okay, so ibig sabihin sir, pag increase ng PTH, tataas din ang ating calcium level? Yes po, no? So you'll learn more of this pagdating ninyo sa chemistry. But for now, please understand that the osteoblast, even in its blast form, it is still very effective. Okay, napakarami niyang functions. Okay, so I hope na-gets niyo itong slide na to, no? So pag tinanong kayo guys, no, ano yung ginasecrete na hormone ng osteoblast? Pero yung sabihin na, sir, osteoclast stimulating factor, very good. Anong trabaho niyan? Sir, mag-breakdown ng bone or for bone resorption, sir, very good. So, kailan masikrit yung hormone na yan? Sir, in the presence of your PTH or the parathyroid hormone. Okay, so I hope naintindihan nyo, no? And let's move on sa kanyang mature form, which is the osteocytes. Okay, so osteocytes, they are osteoblast trapped in the lacuna. Okay, so they do not divide. Okay, guys sa osteoblast, they do not divide, they just mature. Okay, but in this case, since this is the mature form, no, it becomes indistinguishable from osteoblast when released from the lacuna. So kapag itong osteocyte na to, this one, tinanggal mo sa kanyang individual lacuna, no, kamukha niya ngayon yung osteoblast natin. Okay, ang palatandaan natin dito guys na ay osteocyte yan. Masabi mo na osteocyte yan kapag nasa lacuna siya. Okay, So they are flat cells, and then the cytoplasmic organelles and nucleus are similar to your osteoblast. So ibig sabihin, they look identical and they secrete limited amount of bone matrix. Unlike your osteoblast, no, na can secrete has many function and secrete abundant amount of bone matrix. Here, the osteocytes, no, kay ano na siya, limited lang yung amount ng bone matrix na magawa niya, and then eventually mamatay. Okay? So sir, what if dili na lang ay mag-mature ang mga osteoblasts since mas effective man sila? Gaya mo guys, no, gaya nating lahat, napapagod din ang mga cells. Okay? So 'di ba minsan pag pagod na tayo sa lahat-lahat with all the academics, 'di ba? Minsan gusto na lang natin maging plant. Ganon din ang ating mga osteoblast, no? Pagdating yung tayo, nagikapoy na sila, no? I just wanna become an osteocyte. So, ikaw minsan, pag pagod ka na, sabihin mo sa sarili mo, gusto ko na lang maging osteocyte. Okay? So, let's move on sa next type of cell, which is the osteoclast. So, remember guys, osteoclasts are your macrophages found in your bone. So, since they are macrophages, they are large cells, no? They are large cells. They are multinucleated. Remember, to more than 100 nuclei can be seen. Okay? So, in concavities, which is the resorption cavities, guys, no? Ang tawag sa lacuna kung saan sila naka-held in place is the house-shaped lacunae. Okay? So, please understand that they are also in place sa ating mga lacuna. Ang tawag sa lacuna na yun is house-shapes or hose-shapes. Bahala kayo paano nyo siya i-pronounce. Okay? The function of this is bone resorption. Sir, bone resorption. Yes po, yung nabanggit ko kanina. Yung i-breakdown ang bone para ma-release kung ano yung component na nandun sa bone na yun. If that bone is rich in calcium, the calcium now will be elevated sa bloodstream. Ano pa? Ang another function din nito, since it is a macrophage, it is able also to kill microorganisms, no? Yung mga small debris, no? Na mga microorganisms. Okay? Capable po na sila. And trust me, maklaro nyo talaga na ano to siya, osteoclast to. Kasi nga guys, malaki and maraming nucleus. Okay? Marami siyang mga nuclei. Okay? So the cytoplasms are foamy and slightly basophilic in the young ones and acidophilic in the older ones. So tandaan niyo, 'di ba? Basophilic means basic. Okay? So alkaline sa young ones. As we get older, no, actually as they get older, they become acidophilic. So may asim pa. All right? So let's move on sa next slide natin. The osteoclasts also have yung tinatawag natin na ruffled borders. Okay, ito siya. These are the ruffled borders natin. And then, striated borders that is formed by the surface osteoclast that projects on bone and consists of villus-like processes of plasmalemma. Tandaan nyo, the plasmalemma is the plasma membrane, which is this one. Okay, this one. Can you appreciate? Di ba ang villi, guys, maalala sa ating epithelium? Di ba ang villi para siyang cilia pero mas maliliit and then mas uniform? Ito siya. Ayan. Okay? Yan na siya. That is the villus-like processes of the plasmalemma. That's why sinabi dito na meron siyang ruffled border. Okay? So, osteoclast is the site of bone resorption. Tandaan niyo, it is held in place in its individual lacuna gyapon. Since being a macrophage, it can trap small particles that enzymes can digest. Okay? So, I hope naintindihan niyo itong slide na to ha. Let's have a picture, no? A picture quiz. Okay? So here guys, no, ito siya, see, the abundant nucleuses na present dyan. The abundant nucleus there, no, which will tell you na osteoclast to siya. Okay? And held in place sila, no? Always held in place sila sa kanilang individual lacuna. Okay? Tandaan, they are held in place in their individual lacuna. Okay? Let's try another picture test. Okay? So let's identify. So first, appreciate the bone matrices here and then the marrow spaces. Okay. Sir, ano to sir? Itong mga nakalinya na yan. Yan. Okay. Those are all your osteoblasts. Okay. Osteoblasts. Yan. Yan. Nakalinya lang ha. Yan. Sir, ito sir. Yan. As you can see, di ba? Nasa lacuna na siya. So, ang tawag dyan is your osteocyte. Okay. This is another osteocyte. Yung mga number 13, yan sila. Those are all osteoblasts. Okay. Osteoblasts. Okay. So, let's talk about the bone formation now. Okay, in the bone formation, guys, no, this is the process of bone. The process of bone formation is what we call ossification. Okay, so ossification happens in 4 situations, no. The formation of bone in an embryo, no. So, gaya na sinabi ko sa ating previous lecture that your hyaline cartilage will be replaced by blood vessels and bone matrices, di ba? So that process is what we call ossification. We also have growth of bones until adulthood, no? As we grow older, di ba, we get taller, stronger, di ba? So usually, nag-stop ang paglaki ng ating mga bone or yung pangtangkad ng tao at the age of 18 to 20. So, kung anong height mo ngayon, kung 21 ka na, yan na talaga siya. Okay? And then, the remodeling of bones, no? Since minsan may time na our bones need to be remodeled, lalo na kung meron tayong mga fractures, di ba? And then, we also have the repair of fractures. Okay? So, let's start with the formation of bone in an embryo. Okay? So, can you appreciate yung mukha ng ating baby dito? The cartilage formation and ossification occurs during the 6th, tandahan na, 6th week of embryonic development. It will come into two ossification pattern. One, the first one is the intramembranous ossification. Okay? Flat bones of the skull and mandible are formed in this way. The soft spot, yung parang pag-anak ng ano natin, pag-anak sa atin guys, di ba? Kung nakawak na kayo ng baby, yung pag-anak talaga, di ba? Medyo soft pa yung skull nila. It's because guys, no, from a cartilage, mag-undergo pa siya ng ossification, no? It will form the bone pa. So, ibig sabihin, baka hindi pa kompleto yung ossification procedure. But, ang tawag dun sa process na yun, guys, is the intramembranous ossification. Okay? I hope naintindihan. So, ang dalawang pattern na ano natin, guys, is your intramembranous bone forming or intramembranous ossification and the endochondrial bone ossification. Okay? So, unahin, since we talk about intramembranous ossification, dagdagan natin. Okay? Intramembranous ossification is an ossification center appears, okay, in the fibrous connective tissue. So, basically, guys, no, since connective tissue ko man ang start ng all, no, there will be merong mag-appear na ossification center. From there, osteoblast will mature into osteocyte and start making the bone matrix. Okay? And start making the bone matrix. So, yan yung nangyari sa ating intramembranous ossification. Anong mangyari? Anong maglabas? Anong mag-appear? Yung tinatawag natin na ossification center. Okay? Ossification center. Let's talk about the second pattern, yung ating endochondral ossification. The endochondral ossification is the replacement of cartilage by bone. So, ibig sabihin, ito na yung time na kung saan tatanggalin na talaga yung ating buong cartilage, no? Most bones of the body are formed in this way, including your long bones, okay? So, malala ninyo yung ating, as we get older, paano ba tayo maglaki, paano nagalaki ang buto? It's because of this one, the endochondral ossification. So, by the way, guys, no, gaya yung sinabi ko kanina, the intramembranous ossification, no, happens sa mga flat bones of the skull and mandible. Okay? But in the endochondral ossification, no, makita siya sa ating mga long bones. Okay? Yung paglaki niya mismo. So, ito yung pinaka-best picture, guys, na para mas maintindihan ninyo. Ito siya. Okay? So, we have 5 steps here for a bone formation using yung ating endochondral ossification. Okay? You have a cartilage model here. Okay? The chondrocytes at the center are of growing cartilage, no, enlarge and die as the matrix calcify. From there, no, the blood vessels now will try to infiltrate. Okay? Will try to infiltrate and mag-form ng mga osteoblast. Okay? So, saan galing yung osteoblast na yan? Sa tinatawag natin na ossification center. Okay? So, mag-form ng mga osteoblast and then, mas magpasok pa yung mga blood vessels dyan. Okay? Hanggang sa it will make its own marrow cavity and then, yung kanyang main structure na. Okay? Tapos ngayon, pawala yung ating mga chondrocytes, di ba? Kawawa naman sila. Okay? The bone of the shaft thickens and then the cartilage near its epiphysis is replaced by the shaft of the bone. Okay? Like this one. Blood vessels invade the epiphysis of the osteoblast, form secondary center of ossification. So ito siya, 'di ba, this is the epiphysis, guys, is yung sa taas, no? May magpasok diyan ng mga blood vessels and then maggawa na naman ng another ossification center. Then mag-form naman siya ng another bone structure naman. Okay? So, I hope sana na-gets ninyo, no, yung ating bone formation. Now, let's move on sa ating bone growth. For the bone growth, guys, no, we have different mechanisms. Okay? We have the appositional growth, no? Appositional growth only because of the rigid intercellular substances. And then osteocytes are not capable of division. So, ibig sabihin, yung pag-grow niya is nakadepende sa rigidity of the intercellular substances and then yung capability ng osteocytes, since the osteocytes are not capable of cell division, no? So yan yung isang mechanism ng ating bone growth, no? Positional growth only. We also have yung growth in width, di ba? So dito guys, diyan na papasok yung functions of periosteum. Osteoblast, since the osteoblasts are found, di ba? Kita naman siya sa lining ng ating periosteum. Osteoblast in the periosteum lay down the bone matrix. Okay, so that's why naga-width siya, no? Nagalapad. Okay? And then we also have yung ating growth in length, okay? Growth in length. Ang growth in length naman is yung pagtaas, no? For example, ito yung ating bone. Ito yung ating bone. Yan. Ang growth in width is yung pagganyan. Okay? So these are your periosteum, di ba? And then dito yung ating mga osteoblast, okay? Yan yung responsible sa growth in width natin. Ang responsible naman sa ating growth in length, yan yung pagtaas, no? These are also one mechanism of your bone growth, no? Yung growth in length. And gaya na sinabi ko guys, yung paglaki ng mga buto natin is up until 18 to 20 years old. Okay? We also have yung epiphyseal plate, di ba? Epiphyseal plate which is an hyaline cartilage but without the perichondrium. Okay? Wala siyang perichondrium guys. Okay? Epiphyseal plate are thin transverse hyaline cartilage discs. They are found between the diaphysis and epiphysis. So this is the epiphysis, this is the diaphysis. So in between is your epiphyseal plate. Okay? So I hope naintindihan niyo, no? So let's take a look at the different region ng isang buong buto, no, 'di ba? We have a bone, let's say bone. Ayan. Okay. Ito buong structure niya guys, no. Meron kasi yan siya mga zone, no. Ang different zone kay i-discuss natin ano yan siya. But for now, alaman niyo 'di ba that this is the epiphysis, no? And then yung sa baba niya is yung diaphysis. So the different regions guys, no, actually we have at least 5 regions, no, that you need to memorize or familiarize with. You have the zone of reserve, in which in this reserve guys, no, there is no bone growth. They are located near the epiphyseal plate, no, yung epiphyseal plate natin. Yan yung dyan banda yung zone of reserve. They have scattered chondrocyte and anchors plate of bone. Okay, so basically, so if this is a bone, and then this is the epiphysis, and then this is the diaphysis. Okay? So, saan sila makita banda dito? Okay, near the epiphyseal plate. Okay? So, remember that they have scattered chondrocyte. Okay? So, ito yan siya guys. Dito. Scattered chondrocyte. Okay. The zone of proliferation guys, the chondrocytes are stacked like coins. Okay? So, this is the zone of proliferation or the growth zone. Okay? So, makita nyo, the chondrocytes are stacked like coins. No? Yan, para silang mga yung mga piso-piso nag-stack together. So, I hope na-appreciate niyo yung itsura, no? So, for now, yan muna guys na titignan niyo, no? So, basta pag malapit sa epiphyseal plate, that is your zone of reserve. If you observe stack of coins na mga chondrocyte, those are your zone of proliferation. Okay? Bakit sir? Bakit stack of coins? Because this is the place to which cartilage cells undergo mitosis. Okay? So, let's move on sa next area. The number 3, we have the zone of cell hypertrophy and maturation. Okay? Here, sa hypertrophic zone natin, guys, no? The large chondrocytes are arranged in columns na. Okay? And they mature. Lengthwise expansion of the epiphyseal plate. So, lumalaki siya. Okay? Palaki siya, pahaba. Ito yung area, guys, no? Kung saan, paano magtaas yung mga buto natin. Okay? Dito nangyari yon sa hypertrophic zone. Okay? Another zone that I want you to know is the zone of calcification. We have we have few cell layers thick, okay, medyo makapal na, and then occupied by osteoblasts and osteoclasts and capillaries from the diaphysis. So, dito na part is the diaphysis na banda. Okay? So, dito, bone matrices are being made and mag-start na sila mag-calcify. So, ibig sabihin, dito na part, nagiging patigas ng ating bone. Okay? And then last part is the zone of ossification, area where newly formed osteoblasts elaborate the bone matrix on the calcified cartilage, forming a calcified bone complex which becomes resorbed, no, and becomes the new bone. Ayan, the ossification process. Okay? So, para hindi kayo mawala, guys, no, tandaan niyo itong, itong ating panatandaan nyo na, we have the R, we have the P, we have the H, hypertrophic zone, we have the C, the calcification zone, and we have the O. R for reserve, P for proliferation, H for hypertrophic, C for calcification, and O for ossification. Magkasunod yan sila guys. So, magkasunod yan sila. So, saan ka mag-start? Sa inyong epiphysis. Okay? This is yung starting ng epiphysis natin. Remember that in the zone of reserve, it is near. Okay? Near the epiphyseal plate. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung epiphyseal plate siya, malapit siya doon sa epiphysis natin. Okay? RPH CO. RPH CO, RPH CO. Tandaan. Okay? So, let's identify, no? Pag binigyan ka ng picture, ano ba yan? Anong itsura niya under the microscope? Ito yung itsura niya under the microscope. Okay? So, ito silang lahat guys, no? Yung buong ano na yan siya is dito yan sa maliit na area na to. Okay? Diyan. So, when we zoom in, you can see the ating reserve zone. Okay? We also have the proliferation zone, the hypertrophic zone. Okay? Ano ganun pala tananan sa proliferation zone? Yung stack of coins, 'di ba? Stack of coins. Ayan. And then sa ating hypertrophic zone, yung kanyang pag-expand. Okay? And then we also have itong sa ating tinatawag na letters C, D, cell hypertrophy man yan siya, no? RPHCO. Okay? CO, the calcification zone. Mag-start na siya mag-calcify. And then pinaka-last, the ossification zone. Okay? So, RPHCO. Let's check kung tamang answer ninyo. Yan. Okay? So, I hope na intindihan ninyo yung ating formation or the regions of bones. By the way, guys, no, you can call it zone, no, or region. Pwede sabihin na regions of ossification, that is correct. Regions of calcification, that is also correct. Pwede nyo sabihin na zone, no? Okay lang yan. Walang problema dyan. Okay? So, I think we are done with the bone discussion. So, I hope meron kayong natutunan. And let's mag-move on tayo sa next topic natin. Okay? So, pahinga muna. Rest ha. Okay? Thank you so much. To doctors and medical technologies, it is Mr. Neil and I'll be discussing to you the cartilage. Okay, so I know you're all familiar kung ano ba yung cartilage na yan. And now, let's have a proper discussion sa ating cartilage. Okay, so let's have an overview. Cartilage is a specialized type of dense regular connective tissue. So, dense regular connective tissue, papasok dapat sa mind natin is collagen type, unsa man, 1 or 2. No, it can be 1 or 2. Okay? So, like connective tissue proper, they are acellular and abundant in intercellular matrix. Okay? But unlike connective tissue, their intercellular substances is firm, gelatinous materials with attributes of plastic, and then the cells are called chondrocytes, no? Kapag nasa cavities na or nasa lacuna na siya. Okay? There are no blood vessels present, lymph vessels, and nerve. Okay? So, sa mismong cartilage, guys, wala yung mga bagay na yan. Bakit? Malala nyo sa ating laboratory lecture, saan palulokita yung mga blood vessels na yan, mga nerves na yan, mga lymph vessels na yan, nasa perichondrium. Okay? So, let's take a look at the distribution of your cartilage. Okay? Your cartilage is distributed sa different parts ng body natin. In the utero, it forms the bulk of your skeleton, di ba? And then in adults, they are limited to areas in and around the joints, parts of the respiratory system, and then portions of your external ear, the internal ends of the ribs, the costal cartilages, and then the epiphyseal plate in still actively growing individuals. So, kailan nga mag-end ang growth natin? Between the age of 18 to 20 years old. So, kung nandito ka na edad, no, lampas ka na dyan, no, hindi ka natatangkad. Okay, please understand. So, let's move on sa ating first part ng ating cartilage. Masabi nyo na, ay, cartilage talaga yan. Okay, the first thing you need to look are the perichondrium. So, perichondrium is a special type of connective tissue with chondrogenic potency. When I say chondrogenic potency, it has the ability, okay, or it contains chondroblasts. Okay, it envelops all cartilages except the articular cartilage. The layers that can be found in your perichondrium are the chondrogenic layer, the fibrous layer. Okay, the chondrogenic layer, they are the layer that adheres to the cartilage. So, here you can find yung ating mga chondroblasts, no? Sa chondrogenic layer, dyan nakahilera or nakalinya-linya ang ating mga chondroblasts. Okay, so the cells opposed to cartilage are osteoprogenitor cells. Okay, so remember that in your osteoprogenitor cells are found, 'di ba? Makita siya sa ating bones, bone matrices. Here, ang makita sa ating perichondrium are your chondroblasts. Okay? So, sir, meron din ba diyang mga osteoprogenitor cells na present? Of course naman, meron naman. So, tandaan niyo that your cartilage and bone, they work hand in hand together. Your bones may contain cartilage, 'di ba? Kaya if ma-remember niyo, pag kayo ng mga chicken, parang meron tayong yung mga ngat sa pag na buto na lang, yun, para may mga cartilage doon. It's because they work hand in hand together. So, it means your perichondrium, no, of the cartilage may contain osteoprogenitor cells, fibroblasts, chondroblast kapag sa ating chondrogenic layer. Okay? Understand din na meron ding tinatawag na fibrous layer ang ating perichondrium. So, sa fibrous layer na yan, no, dyan yung makikita yung mga unsa, mga blood vessels, and mga other nerves, okay, and other cells such as your perichondrial fibroblasts. Okay? So, let's talk about the composition. Let's start with the cell. Anong main cell ng ating cartilage? Chondrocytes. Okay? Pag ang sagot yung chondroblast, okay lang yan. But, since ang tinatanong man is the active, always the active form, no? That is your chondrocytes. For the matrices, guys, no, we have the amorphous ground substance as well as the fibers. It may be collagenous because there are some cartilage that are rich in collagen, no? And we also have the elastic. And then the predominant fiber depends on the cartilage type. Yes, Zams. Okay? So, ang main composition niya is the same with yung ating mga tissue. No? Merong cells, merong extracellular matrix. Okay? So, unahin natin discuss ang ating amorphous ground substance. So, amorphous ground substance, like any other ground substance, they are wet. Okay? 70 to 80% of the ground substance is water. And then we also have, since ground substance man siya, meron tayong proteoglycans. Maalala ninyo kung anong proteoglycans? Proteoglycans are the ones that are connected in the core protein that is connected sa ating hyaluronic acid. So, we have the hyaluronic acid, we have a core protein here, and then we have a glycosaminoglycans, di ba? So, yung buong structure na to is what we call your proteoglycans. Okay? So, basic structure niya, your core protein, and attached glycosaminoglycans, hyaluronic acid. Okay? So, ang kanyang mga glycosaminoglycans are your chondroitin sulfate and keratan sulfate. So, tandaan, that is for the cartilage. Meron din tayong tinatawag na number 3 component ng ground cells natin, the non-collagenic proteins and glycoproteins. So, they are non-collagenic. So, example nito is your chondronectin, which promotes adherence of matrix collagen to cell surface. Okay? To cell surfaces of the chondrocyte. Okay? So, let's move on sa next part ng ating matrices, the interterritorial matrices. Okay? So, interterritorial matrices. So, tandaan ninyo that kapag merong chondrocyte na naka-held in place sa kanyang lacuna, no, yung parang stain dyan, yung parang dark staining dyan, is what we call the territorial matrices. Okay? Or the territorial matrix. Ngayon, tandaan naman ninyo, the area in between territorial matrices, no, ang tawag dyan is your interterritorial matrix. Okay? I hope naintindihan siya, no? So, sabi dito, territorial matrix are capsule of the chondrocyte. Of course naman, it makes sense naman because the chondrocyte is locked in place by your lacuna, and then the capsule covering it, or yung dark staining na color covering it, is your territorial matrix. The reason bakit basophilic masyado siya is because it is rich in glycosaminoglycans. Okay? So, I hope na intindihan nyo tong slide for matrices natin, no? And then, let's move on sa ating chondrocyte. Okay, ano nga ba ang chondrocyte? They reside in the cavities called lacunae. Okay? Based on shape and size, young ones are elliptical and small, while the mature ones are rounded and larger. Tama talaga yung sinabi nila, no? As we get older, we get rounder. Char. Okay? So, they have mitotic capability. Unlike your osteoblasts na walang mitotic capability, ang inyong chondroblasts or chondrocytes, they have mitotic capability. One single chondrocyte can make up to 8 to 10 chondrocytes. Okay? Because of the process of mitosis. Okay? So, tandaan, they are usually separated by a very thin intercellular substance. Okay? And then, their function is to secrete organic constituent of the cartilage. Ano po yung nasa baba nito? And secrete precursor extracellular fibers. So, basically, guys, no, ang function niya, it can secrete precursor extracellular fibers. Okay? So, understand that. So, let's move on sa ating next slide, which are the different types of, joke lang, yung ating morphology pa pala. The morphology of your chondrocyte with cytoplasmic processes, no, since makita naman dyan, the cytoplasm is finely granular and basophilic. So, remember that there is a well-developed rough endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. They have few mitochondria, and the inclusions mostly fat droplets and glycogen granules. So, remember, bakit, sir, meron siyang well-developed rough endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus? Remember that the function of your chondrocyte, diba, it makes or secrete organic constituents of your cartilage matrices. So, ibig sabihin, guys, since nagagawa siya ng extracellular fibers, no, mga fibers, you need protein. Okay? You need protein. That's why you need abundant amount, no, of rough endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. Sir, parehas lang siya sa fibroblast? Yes, 'di ba? Yung fibroblast natin, it has multiple or abundant amount of rough endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. This is the same because their function are almost similar. Okay? So I hope na gets niyo, no. For the nucleus naman, guys, no, it is ovoid. It may have one or more nucleolus, no. The chromatin concentrates on inner aspect of the nuclear membrane or form clumps. Okay, they may form clumps. Okay, so I hope naintindihan niyo yung ating morphology ng chondrocyte natin as well as kung bakit no, meron siyang well-developed RER and Golgi apparatus. Okay, so let's move on sa next slide natin. For the cartilage, guys, no, sa ating different types of cartilage, we have three. Tama? We have the hyaline, we have the elastic, and then we have the fibrocartilage. So, to again, please bear with me kasi alam ko na kabisado nyo na to or at least familiar na kayo dito, no? So, let's do it together. Your hyaline cartilage is the most abundant type. Remember, it is the most abundant type. Sabi dito, grossly daw, no, mukha ng ating hyaline cartilage is glistening, no, kumikinang-kinang, smooth and pearly white. Sana all, no, kumikinang-kinang. Ang location nila sa body natin, no, it serve as a temporary skeleton for fetuses, no, and make up the epiphyseal plate. In adults, it persists in joints as articular cartilage in trachea and bronchi, no, so joints, di ba? Malala ninyo sa aking lab discussion, ang sinabi ko, the epiphyseal plates and joints doesn't have, ano yun? Perichondrium. Okay? Kabalo naman mo sa reasons bakit ganun, di ba? Okay, so in parts of larynx, nose and ears, and costal cartilage. So tandaan ninyo that this type of cartilage is comprised of 40% fibers. Okay, the fibers here are 40% of the dry weight of the hyaline cartilage, and then the collagen present here is the collagen type 2. Collagen type 2. It's because hindi nyo makita yung mga fibers dyan, di ba? Since collagen type 2 is highly refractile, ayan siya. Yan yung reason doon. Okay, so let's move on sa next slide natin. The elastic cartilage. For the elastic cartilage, guys, no, if yung ating hyaline is glistening, smooth, dito grossly it is yellowish in color daw and pliable. Pliable pala. The locations in the body, sinabi ko na tatlo, di ba? 3, 4, E. We have the auricle of the ear. Ito siya, external acoustic meatus of the auditory tube, the epiglottis and parts. So ito siya yung tinatawag natin na eustachian tube. Okay? So tatlo lang din talaga sila. Okay? So histologically, guys, matrix are less abundant than hyaline. Okay? Aside from collagen, it has elastic fibers in the matrix. So tandaan niyo, the fibers that are present in your elastic cartilage are collagen type 2 fibers as well as, no, your meron siyang elastic fibers in the matrix. So sir, hindi ko lagi makita yung mga fibers dito. It's because collagen type 2 sila, guys, no? Collagen type 2. Okay? The major cells found here are the chondrocyte. The chondrocyte are big, no? Malalaki. Compare mo sa chondrocyte na makita mo sa hyaline. So, di ba, to differentiate the two, I've told you sa lab classes natin that you need to take a look first at the isogenous cell group or the isogenous aggregates. Kapag maraming presence ng isogenous aggregates, matic hyaline cartilage na yan. Kapag maliit ang chondrocyte, automatic hyaline cartilage na yan. Okay, so I hope naintindihan natin, no? So, ano bang functions ng ating again, elastic cartilage? So, yun nabanggit sa laboratory, di ba? Elastic siya, no? It needs to be that way. So, makita siya sa ear, sa ating eustachian tube, and sa epiglottis, no? Kaya able ang ating epiglottis to close during swallowing, no? Para hindi mapuntang kinakain natin sa ating windpipe, no? It needs to be that way kasi. Okay? For the last cartilage, guys, we're going to talk about the fibrous cartilage or the fibrocartilage, no? Ang trabaho nito, guys, it withstands stress better than hyaline and elastic. It's because, no? It's because it is abundant with collagen type 1. Okay? Makita niyo mga fibers na yan. Those are all collagen type 1. So, kasi visible na sila. Okay, the locations in the body, di ba, sinabi ko sa inyo, dalawa lang. We have the intervertebral disc, the symphysis pubis. Pero bakit, sir, nabanggit dito na meron daw some joints, no? Meron daw mga surface layer ng tendons. Yes po, but what I'm referring to sa yung sinabi ko na dalawa lang is yung mismong organ or part ng organ na tawag yan, kung saan predominant ang ating fibrocartilage. Remember that the joints, no? Sa joints, guys, meron ding hyaline cartilage, no? But majority of the joints is made up of hyaline cartilage and not fibrocartilage. So kung meron mang cartilage aside dito sa main two na nabanggit ko, tandaan nyo na lang or you take note. Okay? So histologically, guys, no, they are transitional between dense connective tissue and cartilage. The cells are inside a lacunae. Okay, yan. So tandaan niyo, despite the fact na collagen type 1 yung predominant ng fiber dito, meron pa rin yan siyang collagen type 2, and that is found here, banda sa lacunae ng ating chondrocytes na present dito. So ang nag-held in place dito sa kanila is the collagen type 2. Okay? So, hindi ko lagi makita. Of course naman. Kasi collagen type 2 man. So, remember na dito banda sa lacuna, no, ng chondrocytes natin. Yan. Di ba na para siya nakalinya? That is, ang present dyan is the collagen type 2. Okay? Tandaan din natin that there is no distinct perichondrium in the fibrocartilage. Okay? Walang perichondrium dyan. Okay? So, let's check for the fibers. The fibers are very abundant. Di ba? They are coarser, no, versus hyaline and elastic collagen. Collagen type 2 and large areas of the dense connective tissue with type 1 collagen, but mostly type 1. So sabi dito, meron siyang collagen type 2. Okay? The major cells here are yung tinatawag natin na chondrocytes and the fibroblasts. Despite not having a perichondrium, di ba? Let's say for example, may perichondrium dyan, tapos merong mga chondroblast na chondrogenic layer, di ba? Wala siyang ganun. Okay? Ang meron sa kanya, chondrocytes and fibroblast na nandito na agad sa kanyang surface area. Okay? Sa area na yan, guys, no, ang meron nag-held in place sa kanila is the lacuna. Ang meron sa lacuna is collagen type 2. So, please remember. Okay? Hindi ko gusto na mawala kayo. Okay, so based sa book natin, guys, we have a summary of these cartilage features. Okay? So, the different cartilage features natin, guys, no, tandaan ninyo, we have hyaline, elastic, and fibrocartilage. Please memorize the different locations, the function of this, and then if meron bang present ng perichondrium. Okay? So, tandaan, gaya ng gi-share ko sa inyo, guys, that all your hyaline and your elastic cartilage, meron silang perichondrium, no? Except sa nabanggit na part ng hyaline cartilage na walang perichondrium. Ano yun? The joints, no? Particularly the articular cartilage there, as well as in the epiphyseal plate. Okay? Yung elastic cartilage, meron ba siyang perichondrium? Yes. Okay, so yung memorize. Okay, so tandaan. Yung mga na-share ko sa inyo ng mga mnemonics, kung paano yung sa tandaan, yun na yun siya. Okay, so please do read the books, guys. Okay? For the next part, we have the ongoing summary ng ating cartilage features, no? And then, before we end, I want you all to identify. Let's try. Okay, so identify what type of connective tissue cartilage is this. Klaro naman siguro, no? It is elastic fiber because the chondrocytes are big. And plus, sir, meron nakalagay elastin fibers. No? So, dapat binura ko muna yan. Okay, so can you appreciate the perichondrium, di ba? Meron siyang perichondrium. And then the chondrogenic layer, may mga chondroblast na nakalinya-linya. That is the chondrogenic layer. Okay, so I hope klaro siya. Let's move on sa next slide natin. Eto, this one. If your answer is hyaline, very good, you are correct. Bakit? Because the chondrocytes are small, and there are multiple presence of your isogenous cell group. Okay, yung mga isogenous cell group natin dyan. Ayan. So, I hope magets na ninyo or masagutan ninyo yung last one natin, no? We have the, very good, the fibrocartilage. Alright? Fibrocartilage. Anong collagen ang present? Collagen type 1, no? Abundant, and minimal amount of collagen type 2 in the, okay, lacuna. Okay? Or near the lacuna. So, I hope na gets nyo, no? So, this will be the end of the lecture, and I hope marami kayo natutunan. So, thank you and bye-bye.